I'm traveling right now with this massive breaking news. Cannot wait. Ashli Babbitt's family has reached a settlement with the Trump administration, and perhaps that family will finally get the apology that they deserve and the restitution that they deserve. Of course, Ashli Babbitt is an unarmed U.S. veteran who was murdered in cold blood by a bloodthirsty agent of Nancy Pelosi inside of the House without warning. Her murder has become a rallying point for the mistreatment, of course, of the horrors of January 6th and peaceful protesters who were simply trying to state that they were dissatisfied with the 2020 election at the U.S. Capitol. Now, Ashli Babbitt's family sued the federal government for $30 million, Judicial Watch representing them, and now it hasn't been signed yet, but all the breaking news is that there has been an agreement, and Ashli Babbitt's beautiful family will hopefully get an apology, and perhaps will get grounds to sue Michael Byrd. Michael Byrd is the Capitol Hill police officer who murdered Ashli Babbitt in cold blood. And here's what's most important about Michael Byrd is that this is a truly degenerate officer who behaved criminally, and let me explain. Michael Byrd multiple times left his firearm inside of the U.S. Capitol unattended. This is a U.S. Capitol building that has tour groups with children going through it constantly. It is the U.S. Capitol building that has people of all nations there, and he was leaving his Glock in the bathroom stall unattended. This happened in multiple instances, and it was written up in the corporate media. Read about it. So this is a wonderful move in the direction of simply justice for these families and justice for J6ers. Now, there are a lot of lawsuits that are potentially bubbling up from J6ers against the federal government, and this is something that's been on President Trump's heart. President Trump has said multiple times that there needs to be full investigations into what happened with the murder of Ashli Babbitt, and has also commented about Ashli Babbitt's case before on CNN and on Newsmax. Here we go.
At 3 hours, over 140 officers were injured that day.
And a person named Ashli Babbitt was killed.
Yes.
You know what? She was killed, and she shouldn't have been killed. And that thug that killed her, there was no reason to shoot her. At blank range, cold blank range, they shot her, and she was a good person. She was a patriot. There was no reason. And he went on television to brag about the fact that he killed her.
The officer was not bragging about the fact that he killed her, but
bragging.
one person who was at the...
About Ashli Babbitt. It was a bad shooting. My father can tell you that. Anybody.
It's a terrible thing.
I don't know if you know this, but the Department of Justice right now is still kind of fighting that case. The family of Ashli Babbitt is suing the government, wrongful death. The DOJ right now officially is still opposing that lawsuit, trying to justify it. Shouldn't that be something that can just be settled at this point?
Well, I'll look into that. I mean, you're just telling me that for the first time. I haven't heard that. I'm a big fan of Ashli Babbitt, okay? And Ashli Babbitt was a really good person who was a big MAGA fan, Trump fan, and she was innocently standing there. They even say trying to sort of hold back the crowd. And a man did something to her that was unthinkable when he shot her. And I think it's a disgrace. I'm going to look into that. I did not know that, no.
And the officer who shot her, Michael Byrd, is still on duty. They gave him a raise, and they gave him a medal, and I believe a promotion.
I think it's a disgrace.
He's a federal employee. Would you or could you do something about that?
I'm going to take a look at it. I'm going to look at that, too. His reputation was, I won't even say, let's find out about his reputation, okay? We're going to find out. But I watched that, and I saw that. And by the way, she was killed, but nobody else was killed. And, you know, the people that went down there, they had no guns. They didn't have guns. There was something to do with the FBI. There was something to do with Antifa and others, and it wasn't mentioned. And there's never been a group of people, I think, with the exception of maybe over the years, a couple of groups were treated pretty harshly, but essentially never treated so badly. And as you know, I let them out with pardons. I know you were very happy. I watch your show all the time. You were extremely happy about it. And plenty of other people were too. People don't realize this whole movement that we have is just it's a very inspiring thing, what's happened to our country. These people are incredible people. They were treated so unfairly, so horribly. Some of them didn't even go into the building. And the judges, the system, the hatred, the vitriol, the prosecutors, the way they wanted to destroy these people. people would go in and they'd be so proud to go before court, and they'd have a good lawyer, and they'd walk out of court like devastated the way they were treated, devastated, given years in prison. No, but I took care of them. I said I was going to, and I did.
Our show has asked Julie Kelly, who's been just the best journalist when it comes to covering situations like Ashli Babbitt and her family, about what should happen. This is what Julie Kelly had to tell us.
Human. It is a pathology. Okay, to that point, very quickly, Trump saying, yo, I'm going to relook into this Ashli Babbitt murder. Mm-hmm. You said this was Greg Kelly, your friend and mine, the other day on an interview. He says this cop, is a real piece of work. He left his handgun loaded in a bathroom stall inside of the visitor center with all the little kids in it. And Ashli Babbitt she's 5 feet tall. She was unarmed, and she was summarily murdered without cause, warning, and with the full celebration of the media. And then Nancy Pelosi awards Michael Byrd like a promotion.
Well, that's right.
What should happen next now that Trump's interested in this?
I think they should reopen the investigation into Michael Byrd. Now, the DOJ, Biden's DOJ, claimed that they performed or opened a civil rights investigation into Michael Byrd. Now, of course, this is the same DOJ running around the country investigating police departments for violating civil rights of their citizens. But when it came to Michael Byrd, they immediately closed the investigation, said there was no evidence that he violated her civil rights, which of course he did, among other things. Michael Byrd, from other investigations and reporting, he has a long record of misconduct, both in uniform and out of uniform. And then, as you recall, Benny, his name was withheld from the media. The media was part of that cover-up for months, even though they knew his name, would not reveal it because of threats against him. Then he was protected, paid for, housed, hidden away at one of the military bases that we paid for because, again, of these threats. And then he got promoted. So I have to believe that the civil rights division of this DOJ will reopen that investigation to the extent that there ever was one, and finally get some justice for Ashli Babbitt and her family.
And in case you're wondering who this money will go to, Ashli Babbitt's family on Tucker Carlson years ago, explaining this case. Here we go.
In the crowd on January 6th was found to be carrying a firearm. Not one. And only one person that day was killed with a firearm. It was an unarmed woman, an Air Force veteran called Ashli Babbitt, a little over 5 feet tall, no weapon whatsoever, no threat whatsoever, and she was shot in the neck. Now, the man who shot her was a Capitol Hill police officer called Mike Byrd, the same Mike Byrd who had left a loaded Glock in the men's room at the Capitol but somehow wasn't fired. Leaving a loaded weapon in a men's room, if you're a cop, that's a deal killer. But this guy kept his job. How? He later admitted, Mike Byrd did, that he knew that Ashli Babbitt likely didn't have a weapon, that she wasn't really a threat. So if you were investigating what happened that day, you'd ask, well, wait, why did he shoot someone he knew did not pose a deadly threat to him? But no one ever investigated that. And during the proceedings last night, and we checked, Ashli Babbitt's name was not mentioned a single time. So what's the message of that? Aaron Babbitt was her husband. He joins us tonight. Aaron, thank you very much for coming on. Once again, we're so sorry about what happened. Your wife did not deserve to be shot to death by Mike Byrd. But the fact that she wasn't even mentioned at a hearing about January 6th, what message do you think that sent?
Honestly, I wasn't surprised, Tucker. I mean, I had no intentions of watching it in the first place, but we can go back, 7, 8 months ago. I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but a sitting member on that panel, Adam Kinzinger, publicly donated to Michael Byrd's GoFundMe. He gave him $200, and then he boasts about it on his own Twitter. And then we can go back to last week where I was listening to Mayor Giuliani's radio show, and when he was getting questioned by them, he straight up asked them, "Are you going to talk about Ashli Babbitt?" And he said everybody just blankly stared at him, looked down, and looked like they were following a fly around the room. So I knew they weren't going to be talking about Ashli at this thing.
But to shoot an unarmed woman is so immoral and so dishonorable for a man to do that. How could you ever encourage that? I mean, what would you be if you would encourage that? Aren't you really saying anyone who disagrees with me should be killed?
Well, I truly believe in my heart that they know it's murder. So I mean, they can't admit to it, so they have to just bypass it and blow by it and just act like it never happened.
Did Kinzinger call you? Did Lindsey Graham, who encouraged the Capitol Police to shoot more Trump voters, has anyone ever called you and said, you know, we disagree, but I'm really sorry that your wife was shot in the neck and killed?
No, I've never received a call from anybody from Congress. I mean, we do have members of Congress that are openly helping us and championing us, but I've not received any phone calls regarding the death of my wife, other than January 6th. Darrell Issa called me that night.
So we've got new evidence, or evidence has come out subsequent to January 6th, that shows that your wife not only was not posing a threat, but was preventing others from posing a threat. Can you characterize that for us?
I mean, it appears to me that way. You know, everybody was caught up in the emotion and the energy that day, but I know my wife, and I could see the change in her demeanor once she started things getting hectic at those doors. Once she started, you know, what we now know are bad actors, you know, breaking down those doors and breaking down those windows. I specifically hear her, and I urge everybody to listen to it. She's yelling at them to stop. No, don't wait. And I can see the agitation on her. The police move, and it turned chaotic and very confusing for somebody that was not there causing violence.
Yeah. Well, it'd be interesting to have members of Congress, Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, Lindsey Graham, come on and explain how many other unarmed women should be shot to death because they have the wrong politics. I would be really interested to hear them. In the meantime, we appreciate your coming on tonight. Aaron Babbitt, thank you very much.